Port win their 7th straight. North's heartbreaking loss, an amazing Dreamtime game. 18th smashes 17th, and is Geelong a one-man band? Welcome to another episode of Ankle Sore. Today we review round 10, and I'm flying solo on this one. The boys aren't with me because I'm all the way over in Hong Kong, so let's get started. Let's start with Friday night. Port Adelaide 11-14 80, Melbourne 11-10 76. Great win by Port. I tip Port. Ken Hinkley generally gets them up for big games. The other two boys tipped Melbourne. Ange was Port, Melbourne, Melbourne, Port, Port, Melbourne, Melbourne, Port. Ultimately landed on Melbourne. I thought I sold him there for a minute, but he went back to Vito's side and tipped Melbourne. But I thought Horn Francis, Rosie and Butters, again, the catalyst for the win. The young kids. Butters had 40 possessions. Clayton Oliver was good for Melbourne. Petrarca was a little quiet. Didn't get much out of Tom McDonald, Melbourne. I just thought Port wanted this win. And they got it. Rained for a bit, so that probably helped Port a little bit. They can be a scrappy team at times. They like to sort of fight out some victories and scrap some, play ugly if you like. Sometimes you've got to win ugly. 4 points is 4 points. But it was a good win by Port. So Saturday, North Melbourne 14-6 90, Sydney 14-9 93. So unlucky you lose this one, North. I thought they battled all day. I thought that their young kids, Sheasel, superstar. George Wardlaw in his first game just brought another dimension to North. I think that's spelt the end for Ben Cunnington. I've been calling for it for a few weeks. He got dropped. But let's be honest, there's no point going forward with the likes of Ben Cunnington. You've got Wardlaw, Sheasel, the captain, played very well. They all played very well. Down back, I thought they were solid. McKay did pretty well on Buddy. McDonald destroyed Papley, got nothing out of him. They only lost because of an interchange indiscretion. So basically, you're only allowed to have 75 interchanges throughout the game. They, unfortunately, with 1 minute to go, made their 76th. So that gifted Sydney a goal, 10 metres out, kicked the goal to get in front and ultimately win the game. So unlucky. I don't know how that happens. I don't know if the player just ran off and the other player ran on, hence an interchange, or was interchange steward that didn't count correctly or whatever, but just so unlucky for North. They've had some shocking luck this year, and they actually deserve to win this one. Sydney, I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. To struggle against North Melbourne, if you've got finals aspirations, you're kidding yourself. I said last week, John Longmire's playing 1990s football, having the likes of Ryan Clark and Buddy Franklin. You're not going to get anything out of Bud. Ryan Clark's no good. The game's passed these guys by, so move on, John Longmire. Don't go with these tags and hard tags, and it doesn't work. I don't feel it works anyway. So, Sydney, no threat this year. I don't even think they play finals from here. Very disappointing again. Got the 4 points. I guess that's all you can do, but again, North, so unlucky. Saturday afternoon at Mars Stadium, Western Bulldogs 11-19 85, Adelaide 5-10 40. Very disappointing by Adelaide. They've had a few good weeks. I actually tipped them as a smoky after last week's performance for the premiership. Not sure they're going to go that far, but I still like what they're doing. It's a little bit disappointing in this one, kicking 5 goals. It was a hard task to go down to Ballarat and beat the Bulldogs, but you've got to do that to win a premiership, or play finals and ultimately win a premiership. Bailey Smith was fantastic for the Bulldogs, having 36 or 37 possessions. Their midfield dominated again. If not for bad kicking, they would have won by a lot more. I thought they controlled the game from first bounce. So, yeah, got the 4 points. They've been pretty impressive, the Bulldogs, in the last few weeks after a really slow start. I think they could be a smoky. They've been there before. I know it's not the same players, but I think having Bontempelli as a leader and just having all those other players around him, I don't know, there's something Something going on at the Bulldogs, and I like it. I like Liam Jones down back. Bit more stability down in the defence. If Norton can get his kicking right, which I don't think he ever will because he's got a horrendous kicking style, I think they can do something. I think if Sam Darcy can come on, anything could happen this year. It's so wide open, it's not funny. So the next game, Saturday twilight, Fremantle 16-10-106, Geelong 11-11-77. Impressive by the Dockers. I thought they set themselves for this one. Geelong, very disappointing again. Again, missing Patrick Dangerfield. Are they one-man band? Is it when he doesn't play, do they really struggle? It seems that way because they don't have the drive from the midfield. Atkins is an okay player. Holmes is an okay player. But when Dangerfield's there, they grow another leg. He takes the heat off them, so they become better players. I think we overrate certain players in the AFL, but it's the stars that actually take the heat off the okay players, so they look better than what they are. Isaac Smith was up and down doing his same old thing, but I think Dangerfield, he's a huge loss to Geelong, and I don't think they can go very far without him, so they'd want to put him in cotton wool for another couple of weeks and come home with a late rush. I know they've got a lot of home games down at that fishbowl down there. So, yeah, I'd be looking after Patrick because going back to back ain't going to happen. Fremantle good. Again, Sarong, Brayshaw, fantastic. Backline solid. Forward line's really good with the inclusion of Tracy a couple of weeks ago. Tracy and the miss, once they get a bit more continuity, I think they're going to be even better. I think that's what they were lacking, that big, strong forward. I didn't like what they were doing 4 weeks ago, Freo. I kind of can see what they're doing now. They're going a bit quicker. They're scoring a bit. They've kicked, I think, 100 plus in the last 2 weeks, which is good. Having that target down forward is important, I think. Nathan Fyfe didn't contribute much, as we knew. Played his first full game for the year. Last 2 weeks, he was a sub. I still think he's not required. Freo, I didn't think they'd play finals, but I think they might just squeeze in based on a few other results in the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, overall a good win by Freo. Saturday night, the Gabba, Brisbane 16-11-107, Gold Coast 9-10-64. Disappointing by the Gold Coast. Disappointing again. They were in the game early, up until half-time. They fell away really quickly. Actually, Ben King kicked 2 goals with a minute to go in the second quarter to keep a minute. And I thought, oh, okay, there's a slight chance. But after halftime, they just capitulated. Lockie Neal's fantastic. Dunkley fantastic. Will Ashcroft fantastic. Joe Danaher continues to play well for Brisbane. I think they're going all right, Brisbane. I think the only thing that they're lacking is an explosive midfielder. They've got Dunkley, Ashcroft, Lockie Neal. Great players, all one style. So I think they need that explosive. I don't know if they've got it. I think Devon Robinson, is he still there? Wouldn't call him explosive, but they're just lacking something. Hugh McCluggage is starting to play some good footy. Backline solid, forward line solid. They can always kick goals. Can always get on those skis, especially with winter coming. Even though it doesn't snow up in Brisbane, but they play like it does. They just go very disappointing Gold Coast. And don't give me, we're still a young team because, you know, you picked up Marbiel Chol, you picked up Levi Casbolt. I wouldn't say Levi Casbolt there is the answer. Marbiel Chol's okay because he can play in the ruck a bit more agile than Levi, but need more out of Ben King. Raul Anderson, good again. Charlie Ballard down back, he's solid. Probably all Australian for him this year. Too much is left to too few at the Gold Coast. Saturday night, Dreamtime at the G. What a game. Essendon 10-11-71, Richmond 10-10-70. I thought Richmond were not unlucky. They lost this rather than Essendon winning this one, I thought. I thought they controlled the game for most of the night. Didn't put on the scoreboard though, which has been their problem all year. Kept Essendon in the game. Essendon kept fighting back. They'd get out to a couple of goal lead, Richmond, most of the game. 2, 3, I think it got out to maybe even close to 4 goals at one point. Essendon just pegged them back. They just couldn't get that scoreboard separation. I reckon 5.5 goals would have done it for them. Ultimately, they lost by a point, but sometimes you've got to break the game open, you know, and they just They played well all night, Richmond, but they just didn't put on the scoreboard. Dustin Martin was good. Shea Bolton was good. Zach Merritt for Essendon was fantastic, winning the medal for best on ground. It was a great win by Essendon, seeing that Darcy Parish was out. Huge out for them. He'll give you 30 every week, and I just think, bad loss by Richmond. Good on Essendon, or Tullamarine as they're known in this round. But yeah, I don't think so. Richmond are 14th on the ladder. I don't think their ladder position determines how well they've been playing this year. They haven't been playing brilliant, but I think they're playing better than what a 14th team is playing. We'll get onto another team in a minute who are higher than 14th, but they're playing like a second last team. But yeah, I'm not sure if they can play finals after dropping this one, Richmond. Essendon's still a slight smoky for that final spot. That 8th spot's going to be very interesting. There's probably 4 or 5 teams vying for it, and it's going to probably come down to the last round as it did last year. Sunday, Hawthorn 22-10, 142. West Coast Eagles 4-26. Abysmal effort by the Eagles. I know they've got 100 injuries, but again, you've brought it on yourselves. All the players getting injured. Hearn, Shuey again. Yo, again. Where's Nat Nanui? Where are you, Nick? You're on $1 million. You haven't played all year. It's the same old players getting injured. I don't understand why you didn't cut them. I know why you're trying to win a flag. Never going to happen. You're not that good. Josh Kennedy retiring. He was 4 goals a game for you. Jack Darling isn't going to kick you 6 goals a game. Oscar Allen's a star, but he hasn't got anyone to distribute the ball to him properly. Apart from Tim Kelly, another star. Those two are the only ones. Barras out, doesn't help. He's been their best defender by a mile all year. But I didn't see a 20-goal win coming for Hawthorn. And just on a side note, it's the first time an 18th team has beat a 17th team by 100 points or more, which is an amazing stat. So at the start of round 10, Hawthorn were 18th and West Coast were 17th. So that just shows you the gap and where West Coast are at. They're in a world of hurt. Can't see Adam Simpson continuing on after this year. I said about four to 6 weeks ago, by the halfway mark, he won't have a job. I stand by that. I reckon in a couple of weeks, they've got to look to move forward West Coast. It's not ultimately his fault, but I'm sure he's had some say in the decisions keeping certain players. So, unfortunately, Adam, look for another job. Okay, Sunday. Carlton 7-15-57. Collingwood 13-7-85. Are we surprised? Because I'm not. When I arrived in Hong Kong, I checked the score and I did live reaction for you guys. Hey guys, Andrew from Ankle Sore here. I've just arrived in Hong Kong. It's about 8 p.m. at night. I don't know the footy scores. It's Sunday the 21st of May. So I especially want to know the Carlton Collingwood score. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. It was a long flight. I just want to know the Carlton Collingwood scores because I'm an avid Carlton supporter, as you probably already know. So I'm going to check it live. I'm going to show you exactly. So here's my phone. Haven't touched it. Okay, let's open up. You'll see my live reaction. Before I look, I reckon Carlton lost by 22 points. That's just a guess. They could have won by 10 goals. They could have lost by 10 goals. I have no idea. So I'm going to have a quick look and let's see my reaction. Okay. Of course, 28 points. I said 22. 57 points. I haven't seen the game yet. I'll watch it later tonight, the mini. Of course, 7 goals they kicked? Wow. Okay. And I said Carlton would lose by 22 points. Ultimately, they lost by, 28. So, without even knowing the result, that's what I expected. Can't kick goals. 3 goal kickers I had. 3 goal kickers, Carlton. Curnow, Mackay, and Owies. If that's what you're going to get every week when you play Carlton, they won't win the game for the next 100 years. Matt Owies, I think he's a terrible player. And as for you running around and jumping around when you're 5 goals down, what are you doing, mate? You're lucky you're playing AFL, so just calm down. Calm down. The fact that you're getting the paycheck's enough for you, so just you're not Tom Papley, mate, so just relax. Carlton again. 1 million possessions by the midfielders, all to no avail. 15 behind? Seriously? I don't know where we're at. I just don't know where Carlton are at. There's absolutely no confidence there. You can see it in the players. You can see it in the coach. It's time to make a change. I've said if they don't play finals this year, get rid of Voss. I think they should make a call mid-year. As harsh as it sounds, but hey, we're not in the business to wait and see like they did with Bolton, wait 4 or 5 years and then go, oh no, he's not the man for the job. Well, you wasted 4 or 5 years. If you think you've got the list, which I don't think you do, but you obviously think you do with Cripps and Curnow and McKay and Walsh and Chera, Wiedering. If you think you've got the list, you need to make a change because they're all mid-20s and the time's now, the next 3 to 5 years. So I can't see Mogul Voss being the next Premiership Carlton coach. So move on, start again, get a fresh coach. Someone with some new ideas. I love what Craig McRae's doing. Collingwood play with confidence. They enjoy playing. They just love going out there. They laugh. They're happy. They're comfortable, confident. The Dakai again, fantastic. DeGoey, fantastic. Pendlebury, fantastic. Moore, fantastic. It never ends. They've got 10 good players every week. Mason Cox is even playing really well. Not that... I wouldn't say we've doubted him, but he's had a lot of quiet games. He's had the odd game. I think Richmond back in, was it 2018, where he destroyed him in the final to kick him out.
Maynard elects the north side of the ground. A ball mid for Cox and it finds him, and that's a big confidence booster for Mason Cox. If you look here at the moment, we might get a look at it if this goes over the line. Perhaps not now. Side bottom. Short ball, Cox.
Just set up really well then, Collingwood, very quickly, because that was fast ball move by the Tigers.
Cox again. What about that? He turned an anchor and he said, I've got you in the air, mate. Soccer off the ground, straight into the waiting arms of Talor. Cox is the biggest man there. In he comes from 30. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's a 29-point lead.
They're just running all over the top of them, Collingwood.
So Adams, Cox again.
Oh, it's getting better.
Oh, he's
getting
bigger
and better.
Impressive.
Can he do it again? Can he do it again? You betcha. Sets it up. Cox again. I cannot believe it. You've got to go back to Billy Graham at the MCG for an American to dominate like this. Can he guide it through? Yes, he can. 3 of the very best.
But he embarrassed Pitnet. He played well. I don't know where Tom DeConning's at. Like, what are you doing, Tom? And for that matter, Michael Voss. What? Pitnet, he's the answer for Carlton, is he, going forward? So Tom... He's out of contract, Tom DeConning. I'll be interested to see what Carlton... hang on, what do Carlton always do? Oh, yeah, pay overs for their players. So for a player that can't even get a game, they're going to go and pay $700,000 to $900,000. That's going to work, Carlton. Well done. Keep doing that. DeConning must play every week, whether he deserves a game or not. You've got to see if this kid is what he's cracked up to be. And if he's not, cut him at the end of the year and let him go. But you need to see. Don't just pay him blindly. And Pitnet... Anyway, Silvani, you're another one. What do you do? Anyway, enough about Carlton. Collingwood look fantastic. Top of the ladder. Premiership favourites. Apart from Collingwood, I think it's a bit open. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that can vie for that premiership this year. I'd love to see a Collingwood Port Adelaide grand final, to be honest. I'm not calling it, but I'd love to see it. Collingwood Bulldogs wouldn't be bad either. So let's move on to Sunday. GWS 12-8-80, St Kilda 13-14-92. Well, St Kilda, lost a couple of bad games the last 2 weeks. In comes Max King, kicks 4 goals, saves them. They need Max King this week so badly because I think they were on the decline. He was a difference in the game, there's no doubt. Again, GWS were plucky, but Max King, 4 goals. And also Jack Sinclair, 37 possessions, fantastic again, but we know his quality. St Kilda really needed to win this one because they were slowly petering out of the final 8 contentions. I think GWS still relied too much on Toby Green to win them games and kick him a bag. I think Hogan's he's standing up okay this year. I think Cadman's, he hasn't shown much. I think he's going to take time, but they're definitely lacking goal kickers. They're plucky, they try, but, Tom Green's a star, but they're just lacking. There you go, round 10 in the books. If you've enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, comment down below if you agree or disagree with our analogy of the round 10 review. See you on the next one.